Hi, my name is Mark, and this story happened to me about 5 years ago. It still gives me chills just thinking about it. I used to work as a delivery driver in a rural part of Ohio, often driving late into the night to get my deliveries done. There was this one route that always made me uneasy, a stretch of road called Old Mill Road, known locally for strange occurrences. One late autumn night, I was driving down Old Mill Road when I noticed something odd. My GPS had suddenly lost signal, and the road seemed longer than usual. I had driven this route dozens of times, so I knew something was off. As I continued, I saw an old woman standing by the side of the road, waving me down. She looked distressed, so I pulled over to see if she needed help. She told me her car had broken down and asked if I could give her a ride to the nearest town. I hesitated, but it was freezing outside, and she seemed genuinely in need. I let her in, and we drove in silence for a while. She had a strange air about her, like she didn't belong in this era. Her clothes were old-fashioned, and she had an unsettling calmness. As we drove, she started asking me strange questions about my life and my family. I tried to keep the conversation light, but something about her made me uneasy. Then, she asked me if I believed in ghosts. I chuckled nervously and said, "Not really." She smiled, a sad, knowing smile, and said, "You will." Suddenly, she asked me to stop the car. Confused, I pulled over, and she pointed to an old, abandoned house just off the road, barely visible through the trees. "That's where I need to go," she said. I insisted on walking her to the door, but when I turned back to my car to grab my flashlight, she was gone. I looked around, calling out for her, but there was no sign of her. It was like she had vanished into thin air. Feeling a growing sense of dread, I got back in my car and drove away as fast as I could. When I reached the next town, I reported the incident to the local police. They looked at me with concern and told me something that still haunts me. Old Mill Road had been closed for over a decade. There had been a landslide years ago, and the road was no longer accessible. The house she pointed to had burned down 50 years ago, in a fire that killed an entire family, including an elderly woman who was trying to save her grandchildren. To this day, I don't know what happened on that road. Was she a ghost, a figment of my imagination? All I know is that I never took that route again, and every time I drive at night, I can't shake the feeling that she's still out there, waiting for another unsuspecting driver.